One of the most useful abilities when calculating discriminants is to first identify the values for the coefficients of x. In other words, finding the values for a, b, and c. So let's imagine you have an equation such as this. And of course, in any quadratic, and here we have a quadratic, it's not particularly well ordered though. And often you end up with rather separated values, and you've got to try and collate them together. So we're going to group these together in a useful way. So the first thing we're going to do is find x squared, x, and x to the 0. So here are x squared. We've got one here, and we've got one over here. Those are the two we need. So we're going to pop those right next to each other, and we're going to end up with in fact, I'm going to start with my negative 6x squared, or no, I'll start with a 3x. Here we go. We're going to have a 3x, 3k, x squared, and a minus 6x. That's 6x squared. That's my first one. Then we're going to have x values. Where are my x values? Well, there's one x value here, and my other x value is here. Both of them have got an x in. So I'm going to start with my 4kx. I'm going to go plus 4kx. And over here, I've got a plus x. There it is. Next, though, I've got the last bit, which is a 5k minus 60. So I'm going to put plus 5k minus 60. Now, we're going to factorize, because what we want the value x squared. So I'm going to put x squared out the front. By the way, if the x squared was a negative, you wouldn't put the negative x squared out the front. Or I notice we've got a factor of 3 as well, because it's common. You wouldn't put the 3 out the front. You want a positive, and you just want the x squared. For the x, you want a positive x and just the x. So let's do that now. So I've got my x squared. Question is, what times x squared makes 3kx squared? And the answer is going to be 3k. And what times x squared makes negative 6x squared? Well, the answer is going to be negative 6. So there it is. Plus, and I'll put a plus over here. Now, what's common here? Well, taking out the x. I don't care if there are any other factors. I only want the x. What times x makes 4kx? And it's going to be a 4k. And what times x makes x? It's going to be a plus 1. Finally, what have we got left? We've got this thing here. By the way, this thing here is the coefficient of x to the 0. So if I'm going to write it out, first of all, 5k minus 60, there it is. But really, this is the coefficient of x to the 0. So here's my coefficient here of x squared, my coefficient of x to the 1, and my coefficient of x to the 0. So now I can write out my values a, b, and c. So my a value here is going to be 3k minus 6. 3k minus 6, there it is. My b value here is going to be the thing in front of the x, or behind in this case, 4k plus 1. So b is 4k plus 1. There it is. What else do we have? We've got this one in for c. My c value is 5k minus 60. And they are my a, b, and c values. All right, let's do the next one. Next one, what have we got here? Right, okay, so again, we've got an x squared. We're going to take the x squareds first. We've got one here, and we've got this one over here. Notice the negative belongs to this in the same way. The negative belongs to the 60, and the negative belongs to the 6x squared. All right, so let's do that first. I've got an x squared, a minus kx squared. That's the first bit. What else we got? We've got an x's. Well, here's an x here. So I'll put plus 7x, or sorry, 7kx, my bad. In fact, I'm going to rub that out so it looks a little neater, easier to follow. Here we go. Plus 7kx. There it is. And I've also got a 2x over here. There it is, plus 2x. Oh, I've got 7kk. I've got x's and k's on my brain. Okay, so trying to make a distinction between them. All right, so there we are. There we are. So what have I got left now? I've got I've got this and this. Oh, I've got a minus 2k squared plus 200. There it is. So I've got minus 2k squared plus 200. And that's all the components. So now let's group them together. Well, I've got my x squared. I'll put my x squared outside the bracket and ask the question. What times x squared makes x squared? Well, that would be a 1. And what times x squared makes negative 7k x squared? Will be negative k. Sorry, did I say negative 7? No, sorry, negative kx squared would be negative k. And you can check them. You can go, this times that is yes, that's that. This times that, yep, that works out well. All right, so we've got a plus here. Now we've got the coefficients for x. I'll put the x out the front, in fact. So really, this is the coefficient of the other stuff, but I like to think about it that way. So what times x makes 7kx, and the answer is going to be 7k. There it is. And what times x makes 2x? Well, it's going to be plus 2. This one here is all on its own, and that is our c value, the whole of that there. So c value, of course, is all of that. So I'll put minus. I'm not doing too well today. I think my brain's trying to get to the answer before my hand's able to write it. All right, so here we go. So that's my c value, this whole thing. So now I've got my a, b, and c, so I can say a now is equal to 1 minus k, or you could say, of course, negative k plus 1, but I'm just going to be more succinct, 1 minus k. B is equal to 7k plus 2, and c, so b is 7k plus 2, c is negative 2k squared plus 200. All right, last one. Here we go. All right, so let's have a look. We've got a few more components this time. We've got a slightly longer equation. This time it's not k, it's going to be an m. We've got m's everywhere. So I'll start off with the 5x squared. Here it is, 5x squared. There it is. And I'm just highlighting them as I go along so I know what I've done. Oh, no, we don't want that one. There's another one, negative 2m squared, minus 2m squared. Good. What about x? There's an x there, and there's an x here. Right. So I'm going to write the 3x first. I'm going to put plus 3x minus 7mx. So that one there, and 3x. That's all done. And now we've got this last bit. Oh, we've got plus, we've got a 2m squared. There it is, 2m squared plus 200m and a plus 1. So all of that is c. Anything without an x in is automatically a c. All right, let's have a look what we've got. Oh, hang on, what have I done? Oh, I've got negative. Okay, I made a mistake here. I've got 5x squared, tick. But I didn't write I'm trying to take the x squared out before I even get there. All right, this is going to be a negative 2m squared. So I want to put the... Okay, right, okay, I got it. Okay. I think the confusing thing is there's actually 2 with 2m squared, or 2 and 2m and things like that. So I'm going to just fix this up. Here we go. So I actually got that wrong. I do apologize. But this is why it's good to talk it aloud, I think. Okay, so we've got negative 2mx squared. 2mx squared. Sorry, my brain's a little bit fried. It's just not good. Okay, have I got this correct? Yes, that's right. Let's check. Yes, this is good. Plus 200 minus plus 1. Right, okay, good. So I think we're there. That was bad. All right, here we go. So I'm going to take x squared outside. By the way, if it was negative x squared, I'd put the negative inside somewhere. This has to be a positive, and it has to be an x squared. So I'm going to say, ask the question, what times x squared makes 5x squared is a 5, and what times x squared makes negative 2mx squared is going to be negative 2m. There it is. All right, next bit. So I'm going to take the x outside, put a plus there. Always a plus, by the way. Can't be a negative. The negative would have to reside inside. So let's have a look here, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. So what times x makes 3x would be a 3, and what times x makes negative 7mx would be negative 7. There it is. And I'm going to plus, and I've got the whole of this thing here, 2m squared plus 200 2m plus 1. So now we can say that A is equal to 5 minus 2m, B is equal to 3 minus 7m, and C is equal to 2m squared plus 200m plus 1. Now, before I was just mentioning one thing I think it's going to be important to note, and it's this. Let's say, for example, you had you actually had a negative x squared, and that was your x squared value, yeah? Then your coefficient for that is going to be negative 1. So what's the a value? The a value is going to be, you're going to write an x squared, and the a value is going to be a negative 1, yeah? You do not want a negative x squared, so this now is my a value. Let's say it was, in fact, you had a negative 2mx squared. You said, well, what's going to be the coefficient? Well, the coefficient there is going to be your x squared, and that would be negative 2m. What you cannot do is say, oh, let's just call it negative x and put the 2m here. No. You can't have the negative out here. Negative must be inside there. All right, hope that makes sense. Sorry about my mess ups. I shall do better. All right. Okay, hope that makes sense.